Hello, friends. Welcome. November 14th, 2023. The day before World War III. How's that for dramatic? Yeah, I really got a bad feeling about tomorrow because of Joe Biden meeting with the Chinese president in San Francisco, Israel not getting its way. Benjamin Netanyahu has been threatening Europe with destruction. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So let's just pray nothing bad happens tomorrow. I'm not sure how many days XI is in San Francisco. It could be just one day. I'm not sure how many days Joe Biden will be there. However, I do think if we were to be wearing the hat of a James Bond movie, and there's the villain character, I forget what they call the villain in James Bond. I mean, he's got many names. In Get Smart, it was Chaos. Chaos was the enemy. Woo! Oh, I'm putting my feet in some Epsom salts and the water's cold. Hold on. Let me get cozy here. Chaos. Anyways, so if you really wanted to upset the world, killing a few world leaders all in one shot with a nuclear blast at San Francisco would be the way to go about it. Yeah. I don't think Iran's going to do it. I think Mossad's going to do it and blame Iran. So that's my stake in the ground. That's my prediction. I was on Ethan Ralph's kill stream today. It was a fun conversation. I didn't push back on the person that I was talking with. I had sent them some info. His name is Halsey English, and he hasn't. Well, I had listened to his previous broadcast, and he talks about, well, some people are unwilling to look at the evidence. They just don't even want to investigate it. And he's exactly that kind of guy when it comes to 9/11. He's not willing to investigate it. The information I presented him, the evidence that I feel is compelling, which swayed me in my decision about who did 9/11. And I sent that to him 2 weeks ago through direct message, and he didn't look at it. That's okay. It's not I don't feel a need to educate people. I gave him the information. If he doesn't want to look at it, then there we are. And then he said, well, it's so long ago. I nearly said, well, the Holocaust is so long ago. Why can't we forget that? Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. I'm drinking my last Rockstar for this month. I bought 24 Rockstars, and they lasted 14 days. How many is that? It's nearly 2 a day. Why do I drink them? Because I get high as a kite. It's magic. For about 2 hours, I feel superhuman until I get the sugar crash. I just ate 3 soft tacos. I cooked up some sirloin beef from the Mexican market, and I added cumin and just salt and some white onions. No, yellow onion diced up, about a half-inch chunks, and what else? Something else. Garlic powder. Yeah, and a little bit of water, and I cooked that up until it was cooked. And then I put about 2 cans of refried beans. I'm not sure how many ounces. I shared the picture on my Twitter. And I let all that cook together so the refried beans and the beef were together. And then I put it on a soft tortilla, flour tortilla, and almost like a burrito kind of wrap material with some sour cream, some green salsa, and some cilantro. Yeah, and they were more like mini burritos. Really delicious. Really delicious. Mhm. Yeah, I like my conversation today with the Halsey guy. Uh, I think I was pretty good. I was truthful about my feelings about Israel. I think they did 9/11. I just want Israel out of American politics. That's all. Israel can go be a nation all by themselves. I just want all the dual passport holders out of our government, the Pentagon, the maybe the FBI. I think we have some people in our Congress and Senate that are dual passport holders, and that's a conflict of interest as far as I'm concerned, especially since Israel did 9/11. And then today, Benjamin Netanyahu said, if Israel doesn't win, America's going to be attacked. And he also said the same thing about Europe. So Benjamin Netanyahu, a career bully, is now trying to bully the people who have been loving and kind to Israel. He's threatening us because we don't want him to be murdering innocent people. I saw some fat old man and the IDF was helping him walk across the street, and then there's pictures of him with 2 bullet holes in his back, and he's dead. So, there's just a lot of bad things going on. We can't control the world, we can only control how we respond to the world. And we gotta learn to let things like that go. Hmm. Good evening. I do an evening, video show, and I'll be done in about an hour. I'll send you a text when I'm done so we can chat. A new woman has chatted me up. She's a Jew, and, yeah, it's pretty funny. We had a nice first date phone call today. Yeah. Mm. What else? Uh, Off the top of my head, I just spent an hour on politically incorrect. I was in the Sky King thread. There's a Global Hawk, which is a jet powered UAV. It's a remote control drone. It flies at 70,000 feet. It's doing loops, NASCAR over the ocean right off the coast of Washington, D.C., like it's looking for something in the ocean. Hello, Charles. And then we had above, like by Finland, doing some loops over the ocean, and it's the river joint nuke sniffer. So it sniffs for radioactive particles in the air. Of course, these mean nothing. They could just be training exercises. None of this means anything. Let me get the. Oh, I'm not going to have that name, but it's specifically, I think it's called river joint, and it's for sniffing nuclear or maybe multiple particles in the air. Not sure. How did your day go, Charles? Did you have a fun day? Let's hope so. Oh, this is actually really big news. World Economic Forum is having a conference right now. I'm not sure if they called it an emergency conference, but they're having a conference that is private. And people were like, "Oh, interesting. Okay, there is a secret meeting happening right now in Geneva, Switzerland. No cameras allowed. It was advertised on the World Economic Forum website. Just a single page and a countdown timer. There is no press. There are no articles about it. There are no live streams. There are no recorded videos. This is a no mention of it anywhere outside a page buried deep in the World Economic Forum website. The meeting will last 72 hours. It starts on the 13th and will end on the 15th. Well, wouldn't that be a great command center if World War III is starting tomorrow? Let's gameplay this. Maybe San Francisco is nuclear attacked. Maybe New York City is attacked, and maybe Europe, London is attacked tomorrow. And the World Economic Forum could be part of it, and they're going to gameplay it all in their command center. Oh, thanks, Charles. Thank you. Yeah, I talk a lot, and I constantly remind myself I got to share the conversation. I try not to hijack it. I get excited. I was drinking caffeine. Hey, Best Buy. Thanks for joining us. How was your day, Best Buy? Yeah, I said to Ralph on Ralph's Twitter, I said, Halsey and I covered a lot of topics with grace. Yeah. And I learned something new about Halsey, and now Ralph learned something new that he's also an Israeli citizen. So he's got dual citizenship. And I just wanted to know, like, when I was thinking about the interview for the last week, I thought, well, I wanted to start it off with because I knew he was a Zionist, but where does his interest lie? And I assumed he was an American citizen. I'm actually surprised he's also an Israeli citizen. I wasn't expecting that. I was gonna the argument I was gonna pose is like, look at we're both Americans. So why are you giving your allegiance to Israel just because you're Jewish? And it turns out like maybe I think he said he was born in Israel or he spent 12 years there. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and watch the broadcast later. Oh, I have trouble watching the Rumble because their lowest quality is like on a stream is maybe like 480K, and my internet connection's so weak. I like at YouTube, I'm usually watching things at 140K. So my streaming capabilities are weak. All right, let me go to politically incorrect. And yeah, the secret meeting in Geneva with the World Economic Forum, that raises some eyebrows for me. This hockey player death, Adam Johnson, manslaughter arrest over hockey player death. I saw an animation. That guy did a karate kick. His foot was super high. It's like he did a roundhouse kick. I think it's called a roundhouse. So he did a roundhouse kick to his throat with 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 wearing shoes with knives on it called ice skates. So he swung a knife at his throat intentionally. Does this guy have some karate training in his background? If he has karate training, then clearly that was the excuse. Well, I fell with a karate kick to the throat. If he fell, the leg would be at the waist level, not as high as it was. Best Buy, thanks for about the rumor on Rumble. being notoriously bad. Yeah. Odyssey was also bad. I've been there. I just figured that they're streaming service startups with no money, and they can't afford their bandwidth bill, so they're just, struggling. I wonder if there's a way to make a streaming service that's a little bit like Pirate Bay because, that's how YouTube has its death grip on the world is they are spending probably millions of dollars a month in bandwidth, and, to be a player at the level of YouTube, you're gonna have to spend millions and millions of dollars in bandwidth a month to offer the same quality of service, and, YouTube's got enough money to offer the highest quality service, and to enter that space now is gonna be really hard. So maybe the technical strategy, if you are gonna enter that space, is without millions, is to have a user base that is willing to uh, somehow restream it for you, like Pirate Bay. I don't know. I'm gonna go back to this World War III thing. I just have a feeling. The news has been so quiet about San Francisco. That should be major news, and it isn't major news. Like Joe Biden is normally sitting on his ass doing nothing, but here he is going to San Francisco, meeting the president of China. That should still be some big news, and it's not. And nobody's really talking about it. Um, I just find that suspicious. And then we have the president of China coming to America. That should also be big news, and it's not. I mean, the only news was that San Francisco did clean up the streets and kick out the homeless people to impress XI. Um, but and Gavin Newsom made a pretty good joke about it. He does crack me up sometimes. Like he's pretty likable sometimes. He's also phony, but he's likable. I'm just admitting that I can be overcome with somebody's humor and charm. I don't think Gavin Newsom's a bad person. I just don't his politics are kind of I like what he does for our immigrants. He's nice to the immigrants and, um, yeah. I give him a thumbs up. I think he's doing an okay job. Mm. Yeah, so the lack of big news, like, since October 7th, nearly we're going on almost 5 weeks of the war with Palestine. 11,000 innocent Palestinians have been murdered. They're not killing Hamas members, they're killing civilians who are unarmed. This is genocide. This is just genocide, and Israel won't be held accountable. This is just it's just it's heartbreaking, and I think the Israel has burned a bridge with every thinking person in the world. They've burned a bridge. There is no going back. So that's also concerning because they're not trying to keep up appearances. They don't care what people think. They just want to murder the Palestinians at any cost to them. And so they're kind of in a bipolar murder suicide mode. Like literally and actually, Netanyahu said yesterday and today that if they don't win the war, war is coming to USA and Europe. That's crazy talk. That is crazy talk. And also, Netanyahu's been in charge for almost 30 years. He's like a dictator. He's definitely a dick. XI has landed in San Francisco. And Joe Biden is staying at the Fairmont Hotel, which is, it's at the top of a hill. It's across the street from the Ritz-Carlton, I think. The Ritz-Carlton has a penthouse you can rent for, I think, $19,000 a night. I've been there once for a party. It was really nice. It was beautiful, actually. And the penthouse has its own elevator from the lobby. You got the elevator for all the other floors, and then you got the penthouse elevator. Pretty decadent. Oh my God, this was the funniest meme today. It says, tired of boiling water every time you make pasta? Boil a few gallons at the beginning of the week and then freeze it for later. And it shows bags of water in the freezer. Totally stupid, but still super funny. Really creative. I'm just reading Politically Incorrect here to see if there's any big stories. Oh, what's his name? Another guy is his name is Jimmy Dore, the Jimmy Dore Show. And he also says Mossad did 9/11. God bless him. It's a picture of Stephen King. And it says, why does every famous person become leftist and go nuts? So many once respectable persons go insane. Well, I think it comes down to blackmail in Israel. They sold their soul to the devil for fame and money, and they've got blackmail on them for something. And they're like, listen, we really need you to support Israel today and say these exact words. I don't want to. They're like, listen, want me to send you the tape of you doing that thing? No, okay, I'll do it. Like they're just blackmailing them. Even James Wood, he's blackmailed from Hollywood, but he still kisses Israel's ass. Unbelievable. Whoa. Miss Universe files for bankruptcy after accepting transgender contestants. Nikki Haley copied one of my ideas, which was no more anonymity on the internet. She says if she's made president, every social media user will be verified by their name for national security purposes. I totally agree with this. And I just want to acknowledge that she copied my idea. Best Buy. You're right, Best Buy. It has to be blackmail. How about Rob Reiner? Like, he can't put enough Israel's cock in his mouth. That guy, he's the worst. And why is he making movies about 4 young boys? The Lost Boys? Where did you lose them, Rob? In your basement? Previous title was The Lost Sexy Boys. They had to clean it up a little bit for Hollywood. No, I don't know if any improprietary or any bad behavior of Rob Reiner. I just know he's a total idiot on Twitter. God, he's just. Imagine it's Nazis like, oh no, Hitler, you were funny, Hitler. You're the best. We love you. You're not wrong, Hitler. It's Poland. They're the assholes. You were doing everything right. Like literally, they're kissing the ass of these dictators so hard. Can I please come to the party? Like they're like schoolboys doting over some woman. They're like all fighting over the same woman, Israel. It's like they're looking for acceptance. If Israel murders all the people in Palestine, are people still gonna kiss Israel's ass? The whole thing's just sad. We might not recover from this. Like literally. I mean, I really do think tomorrow we're gonna have something bad. Let's hope I'm wrong. Let's, you know, one good thing came out of today's discussion. I said, well, we need an internal affairs for the Department of Justice. And Halsey said, well, that's Congress's job. I'm like, that's right. It is Congress's job to prosecute the Department of Justice for wrongdoings. Best Buy says things feel off in general. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, totally different topic. But my son, I thought the sun was setting, like if this is my horizon, I thought in the fall the sun sets here, but it's actually setting over here. And I'm like, what? Like last year, I was dating this girl for a few months in Washington State, and I remember being in my hammock and the sun would set over here. That's the memory I have, but I guess my memory is wrong because the sun's setting over here. And then today, it's middle of November, 5 o'clock, it's dark. I'm like, really? Like I'm so befuddled. I'm like, well, Wayne, go into your photos for last November around this day and try to see if you have any around nighttime and see if you have photos at 5 o'clock and it's mostly dark. Like I'm so confused that I'm second guessing my memory of the past. And let's say I was right. Well, if I'm right, then the Earth changed its orbit around the sun. That's not possible. So I got it. I'm totally wrong. I've got it wrong. Oh, oh, and like a year ago on 11/11, I broke my sobriety on 11/11 a year ago. Yeah, I'm thinking, well, was I drunk last year and I just was drunk so much I don't remember things? I only When I broke my sobriety, it wasn't like I was drinking for a month straight. I only drank for a few days, and every 2 weeks I get some. Um, just drinking twice a month. Is it really dark compared much more earlier than previous years? I don't think it is. I have no evidence. I don't have any evidence, and evidence is the way to. The reason for the horizon thing is important to me because I moved my solar panels into a place where I thought they would get the most sunlight, get the most morning sunlight and evening sunlight. And yeah, I'm not going to overthink it. All right, back to politically incorrect here. Hmm. China is using the world's largest known online disinformation operation to harass Americans, as CNN review finds. Hmm. Maybe that's a TikTok story. I don't use TikTok. I don't watch it. I mean, some TikTok videos make their way to YouTube. I was on TikTok. I joined it for 36 hours last summer. a year ago, like a year and 5 months ago, and I was like, "Oh my god, this stuff is I'm just watching a bunch of stuff that's just rubbish. I'm wasting time, get rid of it." Hmm. Israel rejects call to join anti-nuclear treaty. Yeah, and I guess that means now they're finally admitting they have nuclear weapons. It says NATO Article 5 not relevant anymore. This is meaningless now, isn't it? They want to take Ukraine into NATO in parts and say Article 5 will prevent Russia from further advance, but that's utterly retarded, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. Huh. I'm having enough of the news here. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, TikTok will steal your info. I totally believe it's spyware. Exactly. Somebody was reading the terms and conditions, and you allow the TikTok app to read your contents, your contacts, uh, like your your location, the microphone. Okay, I want to talk about something that has nothing to do with politics. V12 cars. And I watched a video today by this British guy, Jimmy or Jay. He's really overweight and he reviews cars. He owns a few Ferraris, a 550 Maranello, and an 812 Superfast, both V12 front engine Ferraris. And he was driving a Mercedes S Class, a 2007 S600 Coupe. And he was talking about the beauty of V12s and the history of V12s in cars and in airplanes. And it was just really good. And they are trying to, like, Mercedes is not going to be selling any more V12s, and they are trying to get rid of gas cars. So I do think there's a financial opportunity for people to acquire some of these V12s, um, to make some money on them, because there's some of these Mercedes V12s with 500 horsepower, which is quite a lot, and these cars were $150,000, and that's a lot. You can get these things for 5 grand. So, like 8 years ago, I was like 928 Porsches are going to be coming up and coming, and they were, and now that market's been gobbled up. Stream's lagging. Okay. Oh, Instagram's on, it said. Okay, it's off. So there's a lot of V12 cars in the market for 5 grand. If you got space, buy focus on one type like the S600 Mercedes. Buy a few of them if you can afford it. Buy a parts car and get a few of them in really cherry condition and ask the moon. Buy it for 5,000 and uh, well, I was like, could you get 50,000 for one? You could. You could offer a warranty on all the things that worry people, such as the coil pack and the AB active body control. You could replace all that and give it like a warranty. Kind of a complicated business, but might have been Instagram. Thanks, Charles. Hmm. Yeah, I am anxious about the global politics. What? Dang, those Ram truck diesels are nice too. 40 grand. What about the Ford 7.3 long stroke or whatever they power stroke? Well, the cost of new diesels must be huge. Well, they want the old diesel because you don't have to put the DEF in it. Who even cares about low miles, man? Diesels just run and run and run. Like, people are so obsessed with miles, and, it's a type of indicator, but and thank God people sell cars for a lot less money with more miles. It doesn't cost that much more money to get a rebuilt motor and slap it in there. The chassis don't wear out, and who cares if the truck has dents? It's just a tool. It's like when your hammer gets a scratch on it, do you care? No, because it's a hammer. And diesel trucks are like big work hammers. All these people waxing their car and getting every speck of dirt off it. That's just, to me, really stupid. It's a waste of life and your time. Get a life, I feel. Hmm. Hmm. Did you hear Frankie X from Wally World Discord server passed away? Is Frankie? No, I didn't hear that. I don't know who it is. Glowcat. Is that Wally World? Is Frankie X the guy who was Wally World? Hmm. What did Frankie X pass away from? No, Wally ran Wally World. How do you know about Wally World? You were in there, right? Yeah, I was in there once. We did a flexing photo. I don't like Discord because that's sad. I mean, all overdoses are sad. I don't like Discord because of the anonymity of people and the really terrible behavior. Yeah, Discord just brought much, much misery to my life. Yeah. Oh well. This fentanyl stuff is pretty dangerous, and the illegal drug market appears to be putting fentanyl in things that shouldn't have fentanyl. And so I feel sorry for anybody who's got an illegal substance problem because, like, you might buy some mushrooms or some MDM, and it could have fentanyl in it. Why would they do that? Because they're drug dealers. They want to get you hooked on fentanyl. And they could, since they're not professionals, they could overdose, and then there could be a batch of stuff, and people just die. They try to say, "Oh, it's a big problem. We got to solve it." I don't think they really care. I don't think like, I've seen those pictures of people in Philadelphia standing up, but hunched over because 'cause they're high on fentanyl. Hmm, it's super tragic. Yeah. It just feels like more evidence that America's in decline. Well, let's say a prayer for Frankie X. Name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Ghost. Dear Lord above, please accept Frankie X's soul for heaven. I don't know what kind of person he was, but he made some mistakes and now he's dead. And forgive him for his errors. Amen. Name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Ghost. And they sell testing strips. As bad it is as it is here, I wouldn't want to be. You live in Philadelphia, also Best Buy? Yeah, East Coast people have a tremendous bond with the East Coast. I can see it like it's a two like the East Coast has existed for up to 400 years now. 1600s when the Dutch came over. Yeah, like 500 years. So your identity is tied to the East Coast. Hmm. Okay, let's go to Google Finance and RT. I wonder where the Eisenhower is right now, the aircraft carrier Eisenhower. RT says relentless bombing and urban combat, countless deaths in Israel Hamas war. Hmm. Russia and Ukraine may never sign peace treaty. Kiev. Ousted U.S. House Speaker accused of assaulting colleague. Hmm. Turkish lawyer wants IC International Criminal Court to charge Netanyahu with genocide. That is reasonable. Yeah, that's reasonable. Hmm. There's a mouse on my desk making noise. Come on. It's like he's chewing a piece of paper. He's so cozy. We probably got another 10 minutes. Hmm. I'm waiting for Google Finance to load. Still not loading. Ah, forget it. Okay, let's have entrepreneur talk. I have some extra computers. I'm upgrading the processors to mine to XMR Monroe. Oh, good for you, Charles. They will heat the home in the winter. Yeah, well, do you have that device called Kilowatt? It's a energy consumption meter. They cost about $30. And if you don't have one, consider buying one so you can know how much electricity it's pulling. You don't want to give yourself an accidental $500 bill. Just saying. I don't have a meter yet, but each PC uses 400 watts. Dude, that's a lot of electricity. A lot. So a 1,000-watt air conditioner running 24 hours a day could be a $600 bill. Let me give you a link to the kilowatt meter, okay? Coming up. Here is the link. There's the link, Charles. And I think you said you had moved to your parents' house. So you go take a look at their bill, electric bill, and see how much electricity they use. And there's something called the baseline. Like they'll say you can use this much electricity at 10 cents a kilowatt. And most responsible people are in this range. But if you go over it, it goes from 10 cents to 25 cents a kilowatt. So you could get penalized with a huge electric bill. Be careful. Oh, mesh networks. Let's talk about mesh networks. There are types of internet. There are types of networks that are not part of the internet, and I think they're on Bluetooth devices, and they're called mesh networks. You could mine Bitcoin profitably with your solar panels. Oh, yeah. Well, Best Buy, mining Bitcoin with no electric bill is pure profit. The problem people run into is the cost of electricity is in proportion to the amount of money it makes. So I can run, well, if I had some batteries, I could, the answer is 1,000 a month. I can make 1,000 a month, but I don't have a dedicated internet line. And so I would need Starlink for that. And then I would need 2 lithium ion batteries to power the equipment over the night. And I would spend, well, for $1,200, I can get 2 Tesla car batteries, which should power it all for the night. And then there's enough electricity in the day to run it during the day and then charge the battery for the night. GlowCat. Well, I'm making a, that's right. Best Buy, mining does not require too much bandwidth. And GlowCat, so there's something very interesting happening. And when I first heard about it, I'm like, oh shit, on 11/11? So on November 11th, APAC, Asia Pacific Economic Conference, Xing XI, the president of China, is going to San Francisco to meet Joe Biden. And I'm like, so both leaders are going to be there on the same day? And it's not on 11/11, it's 11/15. So tomorrow they're scheduled to meet in person. So when you have 2 big leaders in the same room, that creates concern for me. And obviously it is a huge national security risk. They've locked down San Francisco. Many of the streets are blocked, no cars, no foot traffic. And we got Israel doing genocide in Palestine. They're trying to drag America into a war. Like they're having a war on Palestine, but Israel's like, fucking Iran. We need to bomb Iran. Come on, America, bomb Iran for us. So they're trying to get us to bomb Iran. Wait, I thought this was Hamas. So what's up with Iran? So they're trying to get America to go to war against their big enemy, Iran. And they're framing Iran for Hamas. We know it's Iran. Oh, so you've got all the evidence on Hamas, but you didn't know about the sneak attack when Egypt told them about the sneak attack? So Israel's lying. Israel is just trying to get America to take out their enemy. And America's like, well, why would we do that? Why would we risk another fucking war for your bad behavior, Israel? Get your shit together. And so Israel will probably false flag America like they did on 9/11. And so we need to have a catastrophic, America needs to have a catastrophic event that unifies all Americans against a common enemy. So I would expect San Francisco to have a terrorist attack, most maybe a nuclear bomb. They've got a couple buildings that are tilting that would cost a lot of money to fix. It would be cheaper just to blow them up out of the sky. Have you noticed there's all those retail vacancies? Like maybe they have retail vacancies because this is planned. There's a place called the Tenderloin, which is close to where they're at, like literally like 3 blocks away. That could get leveled and rebuilt into not being a slum. So San Francisco is ripe to be destroyed, to be rebuilt into a walkable city like the city of Maui. But I have no basis for believing it's going to happen. It's just like if we're writing a James Bond movie, this would be when you attack the world leaders because there's all these world leaders. There's 30,000 people attending this conference, and there's many leaders of the world, the Western world, at this conference. So if they suffered tragedy, they would be unified against the Arabs and the Muslims who would be framed for doing it. So that's my theory. And where do you usually get your news from other than poll? And also, you would never be interested in doing a documentary about you if my team flew out to film one about you and your campaigns? Not at this moment. And Glowcat, I don't know who you are. And like I've been harassed by some other guy saying he's doing a documentary. He's doing a smear campaign. That's what he's doing. He's just making lies up against me. He was extorting me, trying to get me to do an interview with him because he's an asshole. I might consider doing a documentary after my paperwork is filed running for president. My campaign manager, Jessica, she's blocked me on Twitter and she's mad at me, and I don't really know why. Yeah, you've been watching me for years and reading my post on poll for years. Yeah. I get my news mostly from Politically Incorrect. I get my news from RT, Russia Today, and that's kind of it. I don't trust Zionist-owned media. I don't, because they're just going to have a Zionist agenda. No, I haven't even tried to get my printer working. I move pretty slow. But I sure have the energy for excuses. King Cobra FS. I don't even know who King Cobra FS is. Well, Glowcat, if you want to send me some information about yourself, I'm not going to do anything without somebody who's public. Like this other guy he said he wanted to do a documentary about me, but he wouldn't share his real identity with me. That doesn't make sense. And what makes you think you could make my stuff mainstream. Uh, for the most part, I think I'm blacklisted. Yeah, I know who Sam Hyde is. We work with him. Oh, okay. Well, that would be mainstream, yeah. Um, but also, like, my information that Israel did 9/11, I think that that might be a deal breaker for mainstream media. I don't know. Uh, well, I would consider it after I get my paperwork filed. Um, yeah. I'll definitely have to consider it. I do have some privacy concerns. I even though people have shared my address where I live, I don't want crazy people coming to my house because there are crazy people. I get death threats, and have been doing lots of jokes at my expense, and I don't know the difference between friend or foe. So I just don't know. And I'm still being swatted. Like, if you don't, I've been swatted. The sheriff has been to my home in person 59 times unannounced, and we're over 110, maybe up to 120 swatting calls. So it continues. I got one 2 nights ago. Yeah. What would be the title of your book or a movie about you? Swatted. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Um, yeah, they're seriously still doing it. Uh, maybe maybe internet president. Like, some people have said that I'm kind of like a shadow president, and that's one of the reasons I still do this. Is even if you're not elected, your ideas can be adopted. Like Nikki Haley saying she would require everybody on social media to have a real identity. Now, if you're an anonymous person and you want to remain anonymous, that idea sounds really terrible to you. And I would say it's because you're doing bad behavior. You don't want people to know who you are because of your behavior. And you're doing something you're not proud of, and that you would fear retaliation. And you should fear retaliation for your behavior. The things that happen on Politically Incorrect are absolutely criminal. And the NSA knows who's doing it, but they can't give the evidence to the government, the law enforcement, because it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment, unlawful search and seizure. So I think what's happening to me is very unique. Like, I probably am the most swatted person in America, and there's really no reason for me to give up my political aspirations now because all the damage has been created. I've lost my friends. I've I I'm not necessarily. I'm a little bit still worried about the sheriff, even though we're on good terms. Uh, there could be a new guy on the force, and he could shoot me. They'd be like, "What'd you shoot Wayne for?" Well, he showed me he didn't have anything in his hands. Like, there's no logic to the police. They shoot people for no reason. Extrajudicial killings. So they have to drive an hour to come out here. Is it for overtime? It makes no sense, and they've traumatized me, and I got PTSD about it, and I'm doing my very best to be respectful to them, and I just assume this is about them milking their payment system for overtime. Okay, boss, I'm going home in 10 minutes. Oh, are you? Well, yeah, wife's making me dinner. Don't you want overtime? Well, what do you mean? Well, why don't you go see how Lambright's doing? Okay, boss. Sounds good. See you in 3 hours. You know, is it always the same guy who's calling in SWAT? Do you really think the sheriff is telling me? The sheriff doesn't tell me shit. The sheriff is calls like this. Hey, Wayne, we got another call. Or, you know why we're calling, Wayne? No, I don't. Oh, we got another call. Okay. Is everything okay? Yeah, things are fine. And then it's like, you didn't kill your girlfriend. You didn't kill your mom. That just something like that. It just makes no sense to me. To me, it's a type of harassment. Like they're trying to run me out of town. And like, I can't even tell you everything that's happened. But so I'm hoping that I'll get my paperwork filed. I'll start raising money. And for the next 12 months, I won't even be here. I'll be on the road campaigning. And yeah. And I'm somewhat afraid of the public. I don't have a weapon. I don't have a firearm. I'm not against guns, but I don't have the money to buy a shotgun. And it's better I don't have guns with the sheriff coming over. They'll be like, we're going to Wayne's house. Oh, and he's got a gun now. Like literally, I'm afraid they're going to kill me. It's beyond comprehension what's going on. Uh, the guy Marcus who come here, he escaped a mental institution, still had the hospital thing on his wrist. He had cotton on his elbow for blood being drawn. He said he evaded the police in a high-speed chase. He got away from them. He said he spun out and hit another car, hit and run, and his car had huge damage, like the tire was bent. So he needed, suspension work. His rear bumper was gone. The passenger side was all beat up and mangled from hitting the car. He got stuck in the sand and are you going to kill yourself today? He goes, I will if I can't get unstuck. They're like, show me the gun. He's like, I'm trying to get unstuck first. He had a gun with him. He was acting like kind of drunk. I'm like, you drunk? He said, no, but there was a beer bottle, a 32-ounce Miller High Life beer bottle at the feet of the pedals to his car that was in the video. And they said, don't kill yourself. Go shoot up a synagogue. So we have a person with mental issues who comes to my house who's got a weapon. That's enough evidence to arrest him for terrorist threats. He shouldn't have a gun. How did he get the gun? Was he involved in a hit and run? Where did that damage come from? What hospital was he at? Did he flee the hospital? Was he under a psychological evaluation? And did he escape like he said he did? And he drove 8 hours from San Francisco just to come to my house. And the day before he got here, they said, we're going to send somebody to your house to kill you, Wayne. And then he showed up. So I think he came down here with attempted murder on his mind, and he brought a gun with him. And did my sheriff arrest him or do anything? No. California makes it hard to get a weapon now. You can't just go buy a gun. Like, I got a driver's license. Well, we want your birth certificate. What? I don't know where the fuck my birth certificate's at. Do you have a passport? It's expired and I don't have it with me. Like, they just put so many hurdles in the way. Then you've got to take some mental evaluation test for $30. It just says, like, have you ever wanted to kill anybody and something like that. Yeah, Marcus. No, what was his name? Marcus? Some Mexican guy who came here. Antonio Marcus, I don't know. But he came here in July 2022. He live streamed coming to my house the whole time. And then he also, when he left, he took photos of my street address and shared it with the internet to intimidate me, to bring more danger to my home. Fuck this guy. He should be in jail. Harassment, intimidation, terrorist threats, attempted murder. Yeah, but Deputy Geronimo, he took my statements, but that's a year and a half ago. No follow-up. I've got 20, 30 emails into the sheriff's department with all kinds of stuff. Never once, Wayne, we got your email and we're still working on it. Nothing. They're like, got another email from Lambright. Okay, put it in the container, the trash can. Like, they're just laughing at me. I get it. I don't blame them. You know, it's crazy to stand up for the Constitution. It's crazy to say that Israel did 9/11 with mountains of evidence, but nobody gives a fuck. Like, so like America is going to die since law enforcement doesn't care and they just collect a paycheck and they swore an oath to the Constitution. Their word really means nothing. Zero. This is why America's dead. We got an FBI who breaks the law daily. Like, they're completely on the Democratic side. They're persecuting Trump for no reason. Joe Biden and his family is clearly getting bribes against the Constitution. It's treasonous. America is corrupt meat, and none of the meat is even editable. There's maggots in it. The whole thing's rotten. We're done. If we go to World War III, they're going to suspend the election. And Joe Biden will be president for 3 terms until the war is over. That's my prediction. Well, friends, we've made it to the hour. Interesting conversation. Everybody, thanks for being here. Let me thank everybody. Charles, thank you. Best Buy, thank you. And Glowcat, thank you. I'll probably see you in the morning. Everybody have a great night. If you're drinking, have a glass of water, vitamin C, and an aspirin. Sleep well, everybody. Bye-bye.